I don't think people understand the true scale of hidden dangers lurking beneath the world's largest dams. Welcome to World Explorer, where we uncover the stories that shape our planet. Across our planet, humanity has built extraordinary structures to harness the power of nature. We have erected colossal dams to hold back mighty rivers, providing water and electricity to millions. Yet, some of these monumental feats of engineering carry within them a profound and ever-present danger. Perhaps none more so than the Mosul Dam in northern Iraq. For decades, it has been called the most dangerous dam in the world, a title it holds not because of its size, but because of a fundamental flaw hidden deep beneath its surface, a flaw that threatens the lives of millions who live downstream in its shadow. The Mosul Dam stands as a vast earth-fill embankment, stretching over 3 kilometers across the Tigris River. Completed in the mid-1980s, its purpose was to control the flow of this ancient waterway, irrigate the fertile plains of Nineveh, and generate hydroelectric power for the region. On the surface, it appears as a symbol of progress and control. However, the ground upon which this immense structure rests is anything but stable. The engineers who designed it made a perilous choice, building it upon a bed of soluble rock, primarily gypsum, anhydrite, and limestone, materials that have a troubling habit of dissolving when they come into contact with water. This geological weakness is the dam's original sin. The water held back by the dam is constantly seeping into the ground beneath it, slowly but relentlessly eating away at its very foundation. As the gypsum and limestone dissolve, they create voids, cavities, and even sinkholes within the rock. Imagine a block of sugar with water trickling over it. Over time, the sugar will disappear, leaving nothing behind. This is precisely the process happening under the Mosul Dam, a silent, invisible erosion that threatens to undermine the entire structure and unleash the colossal weight of the reservoir it holds back. The potential consequences of a failure here are almost too dreadful to contemplate. A catastrophic breach would send a colossal wave, perhaps 20 meters high, surging down the Tigris Valley. The city of Mosul, home to over 1.5 million people, lies just downstream and would be inundated within hours. The floodwaters would not stop there. They would continue their destructive journey southwards, eventually reaching the capital city of Baghdad, hundreds of kilometers away. The loss of life could be staggering, with estimates suggesting hundreds of thousands of fatalities and millions more displaced from their homes, creating a humanitarian disaster on an unimaginable scale. To counteract its inherently unstable foundation, break time 0.5, the Mosul Dam requires a truly extraordinary level of care. The only way to prevent its collapse is through a process of constant maintenance known as grouting. Day after day, teams of engineers must inject a specialized cement mixture, or grout, deep into the bedrock beneath the dam. This slurry flows into the voids and cavities created by the dissolving gypsum, filling them, and, temporarily, solidifying the ground. It is a relentless, Sisyphean task, a battle against nature that can never truly be won, only postponed for another day. This is not a one-time fix, but a perpetual necessity. The need for this continuous intervention means that any disruption to the grouting operations can have immediate and terrifying consequences. If the work stops, the unseen erosion resumes its march. The voids begin to grow larger, the foundation weakens, and the risk of a catastrophic failure increases with every passing hour. The dam's safety is therefore utterly dependent, not only on engineering skill, but also on political and social stability. It is a fragile piece, maintained by the constant hum of machinery and the unwavering dedication of its caretakers, who know that a moment's lapse could spell disaster for the entire nation. This fragility was thrown into stark relief in the summer of 2014, when the dam fell into the hands of ISIS militants. For several terrifying weeks, the crucial grouting work came to a complete halt. The world watched with bated breath as the silent threat beneath the dam grew. Supply chains were cut, skilled workers fled, and the machinery fell silent. It was a moment of profound crisis, where a symbol of national infrastructure became a potential weapon of mass destruction. The capture highlighted how conflict can amplify natural and engineering risks, turning a manageable problem into an imminent catastrophe. Fortunately, the dam was recaptured by Iraqi and Kurdish forces before the worst could happen. And an international effort was swiftly launched to stabilize the structure. An Italian engineering firm, Trevi, was brought in to conduct emergency repairs and intensify the grouting program, working alongside the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to train local staff and ensure the work could continue. While this intervention pulled the dam back from the brink, it did not solve the underlying problem. The fundamental flaw remains, and the dam continues to live on borrowed time, entirely reliant on this unending human effort. If we need a reminder of what happens when critical infrastructure is neglected, we need only look to recent events. In September 2023, the city of Derna in Libya suffered a tragedy of biblical proportions. Two dams, left to decay amid years of political instability and civil conflict, collapsed under the pressure of the torrential rains brought by Storm Daniel. A wall of water and sludge tore through the city center, wiping out entire neighborhoods and claiming over 11,000 lives. The Derna disaster was not simply a natural event. It was a failure of governance. A stark warning of what occurs when the duty of care is abandoned. The parallels between the situation in Derna and the risks facing the Mosul Dam are deeply unsettling. In Libya, warnings from scientists and engineers about the dangerous state of the dams had been ignored for years. Political division and a lack of a functioning central government, point fives, meant that no funds were allocated for essential maintenance. The dams were simply forgotten until it was too late. This tragic event serves as a powerful cautionary tale for Iraq and for the international community, and demonstrating in the most brutal way possible that political stability is a prerequisite for the safety of such critical infrastructure. The story is not unique to Libya. In Sudan, the Arbat Dam collapsed in August 2023 following extreme monsoon rains, another instance where aging infrastructure met the force of a changing climate. These events are part of a worrying global pattern. Dams are complex systems that require constant vigilance, require point 5, monitoring, and investment. When that vigilance falters, whether due to conflict, economic hardship, or simple neglect, the consequences can be devastating. These disasters are not sudden accidents, but the final, terrible outcome of a long process of decay, a failure to heed the quiet warnings that nature and time provide. The lesson for the Mosul Dam is therefore painfully clear. Its safety is not guaranteed by the concrete and earth from which it is built, but by the continuous human systems that support it. It requires a stable government, international cooperation, and a constant flow of resources and expertise. The engineers working day and night to pump grout into its foundations are on the front line of a battle to protect millions of lives. Their work is a testament to human ingenuity. But the tragic events in Libya and Sudan remind us that this ingenuity must be supported by unwavering political will to avert a similar fate. The predicament of the Mosul Dam, while extreme, is not an isolated case. It is, in fact, a particularly stark example of a much wider global challenge. Across the world, there are tens of thousands of large dams, many of which were built during a great boom in the mid-20th century. Today, a significant number of these structures are reaching break time point 5 or have exceeded their intended operational lifespan of 50 to 100 years. They are aging, deteriorating, and facing new pressures that their designers could never have anticipated. Most notably, the escalating impacts of climate change, which brings more extreme and unpredictable weather. These older dams were often built using historical rainfall and flood data that is now dangerously out of date. The climate crisis is bringing more intense storms and prolonged droughts, placing unprecedented stress on these aging giants. Spillways that were once considered adequate in Precarious may no longer be able to cope with the sheer volume of water from a modern superstorm, as was the case in Derna. The concrete cracks, the steel rusts, and the earth erodes. We are living in an era where the infrastructure of the past is facing the climate of the future, and in many cases, it is simply not prepared. This global challenge demands a new era of stewardship. We can no longer afford to take these monumental structures for granted. Governments and authorities worldwide must undertake comprehensive safety reviews, invest in modernization and repairs, and develop robust emergency action plans for the communities living downstream. This is not merely a technical or financial issue. It is a moral one. The safety of millions of people depends on our willingness to maintain the legacy of past generations and adapt it for the realities of the present. Ignoring the silent decay of our vital infrastructure is a gamble we cannot afford to take. In the end, the story of the Mosul Dam is a powerful parable for our time. It reminds us that our relationship with the natural world is one of constant negotiation. We can build remarkable things, but we must also care for them with diligence and foresight. The unending watch on the Tigris is a duty that falls not only to the engineers on site, but to all of us. It is a reminder that vigilance, maintenance, and international cooperation are the silent, unseen guardians, time point fives, that stand between a thriving population and a catastrophic flood, not just in Iraq, but all over our shared planet. If you found this video insightful, please subscribe to our channel for more in-depth explorations of the world's most pressing challenges. Your support helps us bring you more stories like this one. Break time.